1 Introduction. My name is Janet. I am 26 years old. For years, I worked in a small, quiet cafe. My life was simple, but I wanted a change. I wanted a new challenge. So I left my job and looked for something different in the big city. I was very lucky. I found a job as a personal assistant in a large company. The office was in a tall, modern building. Everything was shiny and new. It was completely different from the cafe. This new role was a big step for me. I was excited about the opportunity, but also a little scared of this new world. My new boss is Mr. Jim Clark, but everyone calls him Jim. He is only 32 years old, but he is a very important and respected man in the company. He is also very rich and handsome. On my first day, other employees told me about him. They said he is a cold person. They warned me that he does not talk much and he almost never smiles. He is always serious and focused on his work. I listened to their stories and felt a little worried. I did not know what to expect. I just hoped I could be a good assistant. My first meeting with Jim was in his private office on the top floor. The room was huge, with an amazing view of the city. I felt very small when I walked in. I said hello, and my voice was a little shaky. He looked up from his computer. He did not say anything for a moment. He just looked at me with his dark, serious eyes. It was a very strange feeling. It felt like he recognized me, like he knew who I was. But that was impossible. We had never met before. I tried to ignore the feeling. I told myself it was just my nerves. I needed to be professional and focus on my job. Soon after I started, I noticed people in the office were talking about me. They often stopped talking when I walked past. They looked at me and then whispered to each other. I tried not to pay attention. One afternoon, I heard two women talking. One woman said, "She is his new favorite." The other one agreed. They thought Jim was giving me special treatment. This was not true. Their words made me feel very uncomfortable and nervous. I was the new person, and I did not want to cause any problems. The office gossip made me worry. I did not want him to think I was the reason for this talk. 2. Private talk. It was late in the evening. The big office was quiet. Most of my coworkers were already at home with their families. I was at my desk, finishing my last task for the day. I was tired, but I wanted to do a good job. Suddenly, the phone on my desk made a sound. I picked it up. "Hello, Janet speaking." "Janet, it's Jim. Can you please come to my office?" His voice was calm and low. My heart started to beat a little faster. "Yes, Mr. Evans, I will be there now." I put the phone down and took a deep breath. Why did he want to see me so late? Everyone else was gone. I walked to his office at the end of the long, empty hallway. The door was open a little. I knocked softly. "Come in," he said. Jim's office was very large. One big window showed the beautiful city lights at night. He was not at his desk. He was standing near the window, looking out. He turned around when I came in. He smiled a little. It was the first time I saw him smile. "Please sit down, Janet," he said, and pointed to a comfortable chair. I sat down. I felt very small in the big room. I was shy, but I was also curious. I wanted to know why I was here. "I asked you to stay because I want to know you better," he started. His words surprised me. He was my boss. Bosses usually do not say things like that. He looked serious again. "My life looks perfect from the outside," he said quietly, "but it is not. It can be a very lonely job. I find it difficult to trust people." He paused and looked at me. His eyes were kind. "But when I look at you, I see something different. You have very honest eyes, Janet." I felt my cheeks get hot. I was blushing. I looked down at my hands in my lap because I did not know what to say. No one had ever said that to me before. He was not the cold boss everyone talked about. "Thank you for your time," he said after a moment. "You can go home now." I stood up and said, "Good night, Mr. Evans." I walked out of his office, my mind full of questions. As I walked towards the elevator, I heard two women talking quietly. It was two of my coworkers. They did not see me. "He kept her in his office," one woman whispered, "after everyone left." "I know," the other woman said. "He never speaks to women like this. Why her? What is so special about her?" I quickly walked away before they saw me. Their words stayed in my head. Why me? I started to wonder about his special interest in me. It was a strange and confusing feeling. 3 office problems. The next few days at the office felt different. After our private conversation, Jim started to treat me in a special way. He was still my boss, but he was also warmer and kinder to me than to anyone else. The other workers noticed it. One afternoon, he walked to my desk and asked, "Janet, would you like to have lunch with me today?" I was surprised, but I said yes. We went to a quiet restaurant, and he asked me more questions about my life. It was nice to talk with him. He also gave me new tasks. These were not normal assistant jobs. They were small, important projects that he did not give to other people. He was starting to trust me with his work, and it made me feel good. But not everyone was happy about this. My coworker, Lisa, became very unfriendly. Her desk was next to mine, so I could see her angry face every day. She never smiled at me. I knew from office gossip that Lisa liked Jim for a long time. She wanted his attention, but now he was giving it to me. Soon, Lisa started to say bad things about me. She told our colleagues that I was not a good person. I heard her talking to someone by the coffee machine. "She doesn't care about this company," Lisa said. "She is only interested in Jim's money." Her voice was loud enough for me to hear. I tried to ignore her words and focus on my job. I wanted to be professional and not cause any trouble. But hearing these lies every day was difficult. The rumors hurt me, and I started to feel very lonely and sad at work. I tried to hide my feelings, but it was hard. Jim noticed that I was quiet and not smiling anymore. One evening, he stopped at my desk after most people left. "You seem sad, Janet," he said in a soft voice. "Is something wrong?" I did not want to complain about Lisa. I just shook my head. He looked at me for a moment. "Don't listen to jealous people," he said kindly. "Their words don't matter." He paused and then looked straight into my eyes. "Janet, you are special to me." His words filled my heart with warmth. He saw my pain and he cared. At that moment, Lisa's mean words felt a little less powerful. 4. Big party. 1 week later, the company announced its annual charity gala. It was a very big and important event. All the important people from the city would be there. They would give money to help people in need. I did not think I would go. It was an event for senior managers and their partners. The next day, Jim called me into his office. He closed the door. "Janet," he said, his voice soft, "the company gala is on Saturday. I want you to come with me." I was very surprised. My heart started to beat fast. "With you?" I asked. "As your date?" He smiled a little. "Yes, as my date." I felt happy, but also very nervous. I never went to a big party like that. I did not have a beautiful dress or expensive shoes. I don't know what to wear," I said quietly. Jim looked at me with kind eyes. "Don't worry about that," he said. On the night of the gala, I felt like a different person. I wore a long, dark blue dress. It was simple but beautiful. Jim came to my apartment to pick me up. He looked very handsome in his black suit. When he saw me, he stopped and just looked for a moment. "You look amazing, Janet," he said. The gala was in a huge, beautiful hotel ballroom. There were bright lights, soft music, and hundreds of people. They all wore expensive clothes and jewelry. I felt very small and a little scared. I stayed close to Jim. Many people came to talk to him. He was very important. Then something happened. We were walking through the crowd and Jim took my hand. He held it firmly in his. Everyone saw it. The people around us stopped talking. They just stared at our hands. I could feel my face get hot. Across the room, I saw Lisa. She was watching us. Her face was full of anger. She looked like she wanted to scream. I felt uncomfortable under everyone's eyes. A few minutes later, a tall, beautiful woman came to us. She wore a red dress and many diamonds. "Jim, darling," she said, and kissed his cheek. She looked at me with cold eyes. Jim introduced us. "Victoria, this is Janet. Janet, this is my friend Victoria." When Jim walked away to speak to someone, Victoria moved closer to me. She smiled, but her smile was not friendly. "Be careful, dear," she whispered. "You have no idea what you are getting into." Then she walked away. Her words were like ice. What did she mean? I did not understand. For the rest of the night, I could not relax. I smiled and talked to people, but my mind was full of Victoria's warning. The music, the lights, the party, I could not enjoy any of it. The big party was not fun for me. It was full of new problems and questions. 5. Bad news. A week passed after the gala. At first, everything at work was normal. Then, one morning, my day changed completely. A coworker sent me a link to a gossip website. When I opened it, I saw big pictures of Jim and me at the party. The photos showed us holding hands and smiling. The title of the article was large and clear. It said I was Jim's secret girlfriend. The article was not nice. It said I would be bad for his career. It said a successful man like Jim needed a different kind of partner. My hands started to shake as I read the unkind words. Soon, everyone in the office knew about the article. People whispered when I walked past their desks. I felt very small and alone. I was very worried about Jim. I knew the company board would not be happy about this kind of news. They called Jim into a meeting with the board members. I watched him walk to the big conference room. His face was very serious. I was terrified. I thought he would lose his important position because of me, or maybe he would fire me to protect himself. Firing me was an easy solution to the problem. I sat at my desk and waited. I could not work. My heart was beating like a drum. After a long time, the meeting ended. The door opened and Jim walked out. He did not look angry. He looked calm and strong. He walked past everyone and came straight to my desk. I looked down, afraid to see his face. I was ready for him to say, "You're fired." But he spoke in a quiet voice. "Janet, look at me," he said. I slowly lifted my head. He looked directly into my eyes and said, "You work for me, I protect my people." His words were not what I expected. They were a promise. My fear disappeared. My heart was still racing, but now it was with excitement. That night, he drove me home. The car was quiet for a few minutes. Then he said, "Janet, I need to tell you something." He looked at me. The article was wrong about most things, but it was right about one thing. I have strong feelings for you. I was shocked. After such a difficult day, his words made me feel incredibly happy. I did not know what to say, so I just smiled. 6. Old story. After the party, I could not stop thinking about Victoria's words. Who was she, and why was she important to Jim? I decided to look for information on the internet. I found an old news article with a picture of a younger Jim and Victoria. They were smiling and holding hands. The article said they were engaged to be married. Victoria was his ex-fiancée. The story explained that she left him 2 years ago for a much richer man. Now, it seemed she wanted Jim back. This new information made me feel sad for Jim's past. It also made me feel nervous about my future. One evening, I was at home when someone knocked on my door. I was surprised to see Victoria standing there. She wore an expensive coat, and her face was not friendly. She walked into my apartment without asking. She looked around my small living room with cold eyes. "We need to talk," she said. Her voice was sharp. "You need to understand something. Jim belongs with me. You should leave your job and stay away from him." I was shocked. I did not know what to say. "If you do not listen," she continued, I will make your life very difficult. I will destroy your name. You will never work in this city again." Tears started to fall down my face. I felt very small and scared. She was powerful, and I was not. But even though I was crying, I did not want to agree. I looked at her and shook my head. I refused to give her an answer. Victoria's face became very angry when I did not obey her. She gave me one last angry look, then turned and left, slamming the door hard. The next day, I was quiet at the office. I could not work well. Jim noticed right away. He called me into his private office and closed the door. "Janet, what is wrong?" he asked. His voice was gentle. "You seem very unhappy." At first, I was afraid to tell him. I did not want to cause more trouble. But I trusted him, so I told him everything. I told him about Victoria's visit and her threats. As I spoke, Jim's expression changed. The kindness in his eyes was gone. Now he looked very angry. I had never seen this side of him. He stood up from his chair. "She will not hurt you," he said. His voice was low and fierce. "I will handle this. I promise, Janet. She will never bother you again." I saw a new, protective side of Jim, and I knew he meant every word. 7. Office trouble. The next week, a big problem happened at the company. Someone stole private files from a locked cabinet. These files were very important. They were for a new business deal that Jim was working on. Without the files, the company could lose a lot of money. The news traveled fast. The company board had a meeting, and they were very angry. They blamed Jim for the security leak. Everyone in the office started to talk. They said Jim was in serious trouble. They thought he was going to lose his important position in the company. My stomach hurt when I heard them. I felt a terrible guilt inside me. All of this trouble started after I arrived. My relationship with Jim was causing problems for his career. I felt like it was all my fault. I sat at my desk, trying to work, but my hands were shaking. Jim walked out of his office and saw my worried face. He came to my desk. He looked serious, but not angry. He spoke in a low, calm voice so only I could hear. "Janet, this is not your fault," he said. "Listen to me. You did nothing wrong. Someone is trying to hurt me, and they are using you. We need to find out who did this." His words gave me a little hope. He still trusted me. He wanted us to be a team. We stayed in the office late that night. We looked at the security camera videos for many hours. Suddenly, Jim stopped the video. On the screen, we saw Lisa. She was near the file cabinet late at night when nobody was there. She opened it and took out a folder. We then checked her computer records. We found a deleted email sent to Victoria. The message was short. "I have what you wanted." We finally had proof. The next morning, Jim called a meeting with the board. He was strong and confident. He showed them the video of Lisa. Then he showed them the email she sent to Victoria. The room was completely silent. Lisa was in the meeting, and her face became very pale. The board members understood immediately. They told Lisa that she was fired. She had to collect her things and leave the building right away. They also made an important decision about Victoria. She was now permanently banned from the company. The problem was solved. 8. Happy end. After the big meeting where Jim showed everyone the truth, the office became a different place. It was calm. The bad feelings were gone. A few days later, on a beautiful sunny afternoon, Jim came to my desk. He was not wearing his usual business suit. Instead, he wore casual trousers and a simple white shirt. He smiled at me, a real, warm smile that reached his eyes. "Janet," he said softly, "the work can wait. I want to take you somewhere special today. Please come with me." I was surprised, but my heart felt light and happy. I said yes immediately. We drove for about 1 hour, leaving the tall buildings and noisy streets of the city behind. Finally, we arrived at a beautiful, quiet beach. It was a secret place. There were no other people, only white sand and the blue sea. The only sound was the gentle waves. It felt like a perfect dream. We took off our shoes and walked on the soft, warm sand. For a long time, Jim was quiet. He just held my hand tightly in his. The feeling was comfortable and safe. Then, he stopped walking and turned to look directly at me. His eyes were very serious, but also very kind. "Janet," he started, his voice full of emotion. "These last few months have been a storm, but you were my anchor. You were with me through all the difficult times. You are the strongest and most honest person I know." He took my other hand, so he was holding both of them. "I cannot imagine my life without you now. I don't want you to be just my personal assistant anymore. That is not enough for me. Janet, I want you in my life every day forever. I want you to be my partner." My heart started to beat very, very fast. I could not believe the words I was hearing. I looked at his hopeful face, and tears of pure joy came to my eyes. I was so happy that I could not speak for a moment. I could only nod my head up and down. Then I finally found my voice. "Yes, Jim," I whispered, my voice shaking with happiness. "Yes, 1,000 times yes, I will be your partner." A huge, bright smile appeared on his face. It was the most wonderful smile I had ever seen on him. He put his arms around me and pulled me into a gentle hug. I felt so safe and so loved in his arms. We stood there for a long time, just holding each other and listening to the sea. All the past problems, the office gossip, and the pain felt very far away. Here, on this perfect beach, there was only us and our happiness. Later, as the sun began to set, we walked along the edge of the water. The cool sea washed over our feet. We held hands and talked quietly about our future together. We knew that our decision would surprise many people. People at the office and in the city would surely talk about us. There would probably be more gossip, but for the first time, it did not matter. We did not care about their opinions anymore. We had each other, and our love was stronger than any words. I looked at Jim, the man who was once just my boss. He was so much more now. He was my future. I was no longer just Janet, the simple assistant from a small town. I was the woman he truly loved. Our difficult journey was finished, but our real story, our happy story, was just beginning.